welcome to the third major of the year right here at Thunderbolt Lanes, a very historic site. Behind us, you see the wall back there. A lot of great things happening here. And one of the greatest is the format of this Masters and how we got to this point with qualifying, the bracket eliminate, double elimination. Very difficult to get through this format.
Yeah, this is a very unique format. And listen, it's double elimination bracket, mano a mano against one other bowler on a set of lanes. It's the most unique format and one of the most fun to watch because you're just going head to head with the guy. And you can be shooting 650 and winning your match. Over here, there's another match going on. They're averaging 250, and the guy's losing his match. So there's so much strategy that goes into these matches on how you set up the pair, how you set up the pair for yourself, but also maybe set up the pair to give your opponent a disadvantage. I mean, it's absolutely amazing and very unique.
390 bowlers started, and that was whittled down to 63, plus Gary Haynes, who was the 2025 Masters champion. So 64 bowlers then were put into bracket format. And they would go, like you mentioned, mano a mano. We got down to the last 5 bowlers last night at about 9:30 last night. And so here are those stepladder finalists. We'll start at number 5, Boog Kroll. He is back. He is the number 1 seed from a week ago. Now he is the number 5 seed. At 4 is Matt Sanders, and that is going to be a comeback for the ages. We'll tell you more on that story in just a little bit. Number 3, Jesper Svensson, 14 titles, 2 majors, and this is his second major show of the year. At number 2, look out for Eric Jones, the 21-year-old in his 3rd TV appearance looking for his first title. And once again, we see E.J. Tackett as the number 1 seed at a major. That's the way he started the season. He was number 1 at the Players' Championship. Now here at the Masters, he's number 1 again. But this one is big in the sense that he hasn't won the Masters before, looking for the Grand Slam.
Yeah, I feel like this is just adding fuel to EJ's fire, which I don't really think needs any more fuel. But the fact that he hasn't won 4 out of 6 shows, it just felt like this guy was a man on a mission running through these matches. I mean, this is a very, very tough show to make. And the way he dominated the field this week, averaging, I think it was 258.
Yeah, in the matches.
Unbelievable.
And that's a record. I want to talk about another record. So to do that, we've got to actually go back a week because another record was set last week in that title match. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, not the record that they want to be exactly known for, but yeah, a record for, I believe it was the lowest winning score for a PBA event, also a lowest combined score for a title match. But you know what? Marshall is, he doesn't care what the score was.
Oh, no.
He got to take home the trophy and the check, and he's pretty happy about that.
And Boog Kroll was on the other end of that, the losing end. He said it hurt for quite some time. Let's remind you how that went.
Electing to throw urethane right now, which is interesting. We saw the other players throw reactive.
Just missed picking up that 10-pin.
So you have to hit the 3-pin, the front pin, just right.
He picks it up. They take the 2 and the 8 out, leave the 10, so an open frame for Marshall King.
But this is a bit of a spare picking contest, and this one isn't easy. 3-6-10.
Oh, and he leaves the 6-10.
And Marshall, ball change on this right lane.
By the way, that's not a split because the 1 pin is still standing. Left the head pin.
His Boog isn't lined up either.
And he does pick up the spare.
And in a great sport.
Right now, picking up a spare is pretty impressive here in this final.
Boog getting out of urethane, going to reactive. This is a track theorem. You hear him say float it, trust it. He's got to get to this ball to the right and trust that it's going to come back.
Head pin, and he gets a strike.
it's easy to throw these errant shots. Now, again, not an easy spare right here.
Leaves the 6-pin.
A great shot.
There's the strike.
And extend his lead in the 7th.
And that is a very tough split.
He is going to give this one the absolute business.
Another split.
Looking to throw with the biggest double of the day.
And the messenger picks up the 10. Let's see if he can make the shot right here. A big strike for Marshall Kent.
Right bounce back. Right, go.
Yeah, Boog, great guy, great individual. Love to see him bowl well. Got a little lost today, but he is on the right track. Finished 6th last week in Decatur, 2nd this week, going into the Masters. That's a huge confidence. But Marshall, man, I bet if you asked him in the 6th frame if he was going to win today.
He's a title closer, by the way, to the Hall of Fame. And that was a big thing for Marshall Kent. If you can get to 10 titles, you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. And now he is at 8. 8 tour titles for Marshall Kent as he hoists that Indiana Classic trophy. All smiles for that man.
Well, as you mentioned before, Marshall Kent is the winner, even though it wasn't pretty. But you had mentioned that's kind of bowling the way you like to see it, two guys battling.
Yeah, I don't mind it because, I had a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, was that a boring show to call? I'm like, no, not at all. Because, listen, these two guys, Marshall said it really well. He mentioned that he felt exposed out there. These guys are such amazing bowlers. They averaged it was the highest scoring tournament we've had so far. They're averaging over 250 the whole week, but now they're put in a position where they can max out for these 150 games, basically. And you have to muster something within yourself to be able to be composed and to rebound when you feel like you're naked out there and everyone's watching you. So to see Marshall throw that strike in the 7th, 8th, and 9th after basically bowling the worst he's ever bowled on TV, unbelievably impressive.
And I think so many times as fans and viewers, we expect you guys to throw strikes every time. And then when you don't, it's like, okay, well, they're going to pick up the spare. But then that doesn't happen either. It just gets to be a point where you just maybe lose the feel of the lanes.
Yeah, I think people take for granted how accurate and consistent these guys are. And you saw these guys last week miss maybe a little bit more than they're accustomed to, and the ball's whiffing the head pin left and right. So this is a shot that guys are averaging 240 on, but you can see when they make a little bit errant shots one way or another, there's massive, massive consequences, and you saw that. But how Marshall rebounded there, and I know as a bowler what you have to do mentally to get back in it, again, so impressive.
And Boog Kroll said he learned a lot, and he's going to take it to his 2nd TV appearance in a row, and that means a lot of momentum. We'll have more on the pregame show when we return.
EJ here, ball coming back. It's a little slow, hitting to the 10, just like a little meow.
Was that a cat sound?
That was a cat sound, okay. Yes. He's looking to win again on the PBA Tour. Rome was not built in a day, and neither is winning this title. He's got to stick with them. And he gets the love. Yeah, Ryan still in a little bit of a pickle here. Down 31. Needs to throw a double.
How many alarms do you set to wake up? You only need one. People who use more than one annoy me.
So this is my alarm this morning. It's a lot.
None. We've got a 7-year-old at home. He's always up at 6. So am I.
1. I just hit snooze 18 times. So 18.
Usually just one. Sometimes I mean set alarm. Cook, how many alarms you set?
Dude, so many.
So many?
Yeah.
You struggle?
Probably about 3. 3. Then I snooze the last one, so at least another 8 minutes.
Hell yeah. We get up when we need to.
A week.
Really? I'm old. Sun coming up. That's my alarm.
I ain't got any alarms.
I have 4 children, 2 of which actually don't wake me up anymore because they sleep in later than I do, but the other 2, they're my alarms. But when I'm on tour, usually just one is a reminder, but I'm typically always pressing the off button before it goes off anyway.
One and done.
All right, we have been following the continuation of the HBO series Born to Bowl, and this time around, the HBO series Born to Bowl is following our number 1 seed today, EJ Tackett.
We bought Easy Bowl from my in-laws July of 2024. We painted about every wall in this building ourselves. We got a quote for it, for the interior and the exterior, and we thought, we'll handle the inside, but we'll hire somebody for the outside.
Yeah. I would say it takes not a super sane person to get into a bowling business. We're fresh into it. And right now, we don't pay ourselves anything out of it. But you have to keep looking ahead and believe that things will just work out. Bowling and the Tackett name, they're one and the same. I'm married to a bowler. My brother actually bowls on tour as well. Bowling is the story of my family. This sport created everything in our life.
The 5-part documentary series Born to Bowl continues Monday at 9 p.m. on HBO and HBO Max. And we've got more of your number 1 seed EJ Tackett, who participated in a captain's match against Jason Belmonte. A little preview of USA versus the world. Here's some highlights of that face-off.
And we welcome you to the International Hall of Fame and Bowling Museum, where these two, EJ Tackett and Jason Belmonte, are set to face off in today's captain match. Hello again, everybody. Mike Jakubowski alongside PBA Hall of Famer Chris Barnes. Great way to start. Versus the USA telecast coming up April 4th.
Easily converts a spare. About a 32-pin lead for EJ already. I would have thought before the show started 237 was a pretty good score, but he's going to lap that and already has in the first 5 frames.
And the commissioner's son is in the back setting the pins. Here's EJ.
Bang!
That is a great sound. Little tight, and he pays the price.
A little too much Gleek on that one. He was nice to that one. And some advantages, especially if the pair happens to be a little bit different, which oftentimes we see on TV it can be.
So EJ Tackett will be the captain of the USA team as they go against the world. That's next week. Right now, though, EJ Tackett, the number 1 seed here for the Masters. It is a major that he has never won before, and he's looking for that Grand Slam.
Yeah, EJ, I mean, he was a man on the mission this week. It seemed like there was a little more fuel to his fire after not winning, being on TV so much this year and not having a title. And for a guy that doesn't need any extra incentive, I mean, he was going absolutely ballistic in these matches, averaging 258, setting a record. I mean, unbelievable bowling.
Yeah, and so the brackets work this way. 1 and 2 were decided when they battled each other, which was EJ Tackett against Eric Jones. EJ winning that, so he's the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, Eric Jones. Then, interestingly enough, the final 4 bowlers that were in the consolation bracket, they battled each other to find out the 3 that would advance. So I liken that to if you're in the woods, 4 guys being chased by a bear, Really doesn't matter if you're the fastest guy or even the second fastest guy, but you don't want to be the slowest guy. And ultimately, it was Brandon Bonta.
Yeah, Brandon had a great tournament. I mean, he beat Belmo to even get to those to that match of 3 out of 4. But yeah, a little bit of a different twist at the end of the tournament. You know, normally the rest of the matches you're just bowling mano y mano. Then those last 4 guys bowl against each other. Obviously, the last one out, that was Brandon. You know, great run out of him. But man, it was a killer match and a bunch of juggernauts in those 4.
All right, let's break down the 5. We'll start with 5. Boog Kroll. He was in the show a week ago. As a matter of fact, he was the #1 seed a week ago. But he said he felt like he was locked in a box and just couldn't get out of that situation he was in.
Yeah, Boog's story this week, all about redemption. You know, it's easy to go into a show and have these preconceived notions about how you think it's going to go. But it's like that saying, you know, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. And Boog got punched in the face last week, and I think he's going to take those lessons that he learned last week and apply them to this week for sure.
#4 seed, Matt Sanders. And what a comeback story this is going to be. You're going to hear a lot more about that. But first, let's go to the 3rd member of our team, Taryn Hatcher, who was with Matt.
All right, here with the #4 seed, Matt Sanders, and this has been quite a journey to get here. We saw you get emotional when you made the show. Can you kind of share a little bit? We're going to get a little bit more into the broadcast later on, but what this journey this past, nearly a year now has been like for you?
I had a pretty significant leg injury. Didn't really know if I was going to bowl this season, so I'm first off excited to be here. Had to withdraw last week because I had some swelling in my leg and my foot. It's been a long grind for the last few weeks just to try to catch up is what I feel like. So, like I said, happy to be here and hopefully have a good day.
When we were talking earlier, you mentioned something that I thought was really notable. You said, I've kind of been through a lot, so no matter what happens here, it's nothing compared to that. How has that given you perspective when it comes to showing up and competing?
Yeah, I try to tell myself that a few times today. There's so many ups and downs in bowling and life, and can kind of put those together, I guess. So anytime I felt a little bit anxious, nervous, I guess you could say, I just try to remind myself I've been through worse things. So I've done this before, I can do it again, and luckily we did enough to get here.
Well, then I guess the big question is, how are you feeling now? Hopefully great.
Pretty good. I'm a little tired, but I think we're ready to go.
Ready to go. We love to hear it, guys.
All right, at #3 is Jesper Svensson. Now, we saw Jesper as the season started at the Players' Championship. Obviously not the result that he wanted there, but we got to know Jesper a little bit more, and what a competitor Jesper Svensson is.
Oh, yeah, and such a great mindset. I mean, out here as a lefty, it can be tough because some weeks you simply just don't have it. And when we talk to Jesper, he has such a great attitude, which is why, I think he's the best lefty on tour, because even the weeks that he doesn't have it, when the left side doesn't have a shot, he still stays competitive. He still tries his hardest. He still tries to stay sharp, because when weeks like this in the Masters, where, the left side had a great week this week, he's ready, and he keeps his game sharp to where now he's on the show. But that doesn't happen if he doesn't stay sharp in those weeks where the left isn't as good.
Yeah, and it's so difficult for Jesper. You got to remember, he comes over from Sweden, and he comes normally about 2 weeks before the season starts. He's here for over 2 months while the season is going on, so away from family. He's got a 3.5-year-old daughter, and that's a mental, as far as having to figure out how to, like just this morning, he videoed his daughter, his 3.5-year-old daughter, this morning, trying to get ready for today's event. So you think about that, all of those things going through your mind, and then you've got to go up against the best in the world.
Yeah, you're in a different country. Yep. A lot of guys that are here, our tour is grueling, but you can maybe sneak home for a day or so to reset. And we talked to Jesper, that's a very important thing for him, is being able to reset mentally, going home to see his family. Well, he can't do that this year. And guys in the U.S., we typically have time to go home and see our family for a day or two. So it can be grueling, especially when weeks aren't going the way you plan. You're not making shows, you're not making cuts. So yeah, having to battle that out here is something that all guys have to deal with, but those international players have it a lot worse.
All right, let's hear from #2, Eric Jones. He's with Taryn.
All right, I'm here with Eric, who is the #2 seed today. Question is, how you feeling going into the show and trying to compete for a title here?
Not feeling a ton of nothing. I came into the week off of another almost good week, and I just have this this feeling building up. It's I just want to win. I just want to be in the position to win, and that's it. I honestly I really like bowling on TV. I feel really comfortable. Feel comfortable being nervous. So I'm excited.
Well, I was going to ask, you mentioned you're feeling a whole lot of nothing right now. Is that normally a good thing for you? Or you said you're embracing the jitters and sort of the anxiety that comes with the pressure and the bright lights?
Yeah, I don't like to feel bored, and I don't like qualifying. I sitting there just waiting for the the bowling to happen. I like when it's match play. I like when I'm bowling against somebody. I like to feel stressed and have shaky legs. That's when I make my best shots.
And you've been building to this stress, you feel it's been accumulating as you've gotten here?
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to do that to you. Best of luck today. Hopefully you can use that nerve as motivation.
Yeah, no, I love it. So.
All right, Eric, we'll see you out there.
Bye.
All right, we're joined by the #1 seed for the Masters. And once again, it's EJ Tackett. And we have seen you in 4 of the 6 shows already this year. We've yet to interview you after the event as far as the winner. Is this the one? Is this the time you get the Masters?
I sure hope so. But I do have to say, it is really hard to win out here. I think that was proven the first week. I bowled a good game, and Brandon came in and said, hey, hold on. I'm going to take this one. Yeah. It is extremely difficult to win out here, but I'm very much looking forward to getting at it and hoisting a trophy.
Yeah, EJ, it feels like, I don't know if it's because you're the best in the world, but it feels like everyone's giving you their best right now. I mean, obviously 300 with Brandon, the first major of the year. Obviously making 4 out of 6 shows. How much of not winning yet this year is fueling you for winning this Masters? Is that on your mind at all?
No, not really.
Okay.
You go through ups and downs through your career, and I feel like I've bowled pretty well. In Illinois, I made a bad decision, and it kind of bit me. Mm-hmm. But I've bowled well, and sometimes it's just not good enough. Sometimes these are the best players in the world, and it's extremely difficult to win.
And we have talked a lot about setting records. A week ago, we set a record for the lowest total as far as pinfall to win the title. You have also set a record this week in your match play. Mm-hmm. You averaged over 258 for your match play, shattering the old record, which was 250. Do you feel like that momentum is going to help you with what you're going to do today?
It definitely doesn't hurt, that's for sure. I'm going to try to use that and bring it in and hopefully bowl a score that is equal or better than that average I was able to put up during the match play. And if I can do that, I like my chances. I'm not guaranteed that I would win, but it definitely gives me a good opportunity.
Yeah, EJ, the little bowler talk here. Those 5 matches, you bowled lefties, you bowled righties, you bowled some guys that two-handers with a lot of rev rate. What was your strategy there? Because that's a lot of different types of opponents. We know with the Masters, it's a lot about setting up the lane for yourself, what to benefit you and to see what your opponent's doing. But you faced all types of different opponents. What was your strategy on how to set up the lanes?
Yeah, I was really trying to break down the lane and create free hook for myself. Okay. I like to be able to get it away from the head pin a little bit. My rev rate's pretty high, so the more I could do that, the more hold I would create. So that first and foremost, I was doing that. But where I was breaking the lane down varied a little bit based on who I was bowling. Okay. I was trying to also get my opponent to maybe get out of their comfort zone and kind of get where I was playing. Because I was very confident in what I was doing and how my ball was going through the pins and how I was seeing the lanes. So I was setting up for myself, but also trying to get them to play, where I was playing as well.
All right, I don't want this to be deja vu, but we start the season off with the Players' Championship, a major. And that was a unique situation where you guys bowled at one location and then you went for the title match on different lanes that you hadn't bowled for. A little bit similar here in the fact that these lanes have not been bowled on throughout the entire week until now, the TV show. Do you feel confident you have the experience and maybe the the knowledge that some of these other bowlers don't have, that you can take on these lanes for the first time and win that one match. You have one match to win.
Yeah, I think I've won 3 titles on these lanes over here, and I've bowled for several other titles over here. So I've got a lot of experience in the Tom Strobel arena. They put new lanes in about 2 or 3 years ago, and I've actually won 2 times since the new install. The World Series was here a couple of years ago. I won a World Championships and I won the Shark Championship. So I do have a little bit of experience over here, how these new panels play, and I've had some success. So I'm definitely going to take that and use it.
Another World Championship show where you were the righty with all lefties, which...
Correct. Correct.
Well, I tell you what, you have one game to win, and you have the Grand Slam in front of you to get maybe your first Masters. We're going to let you go get warmed up and get ready because it's time for the show. We want to see if E.J. Tackett, the #1 bowler in the world and the #1 seed here at the Masters, can win that Grand Slam. Join us on the CW right now.